Is patience a virtue? A phrase I'm sure many of us have heard before, but with the Tears of the Kingdom art book leaking, the internet has gone kind of wild sharing things, and YouTubers are saying, well, Nintendo should have showed something, and that's why I have this question today. Are gamers impatient? Are they entitled? And no, we're not going to talk about the leaks because I don't believe in that, but I did want to specify where this video is coming from. It seems like gamers are losing their patience. And is it hurting gaming? How y'all doing today? It's Blue Satire, and today it's another discussion board, and I got a question for you. Are gamers that are impatient, or the impatience of gaming, hurting the gaming industry right now? Why are we seeing more delays in gaming, and what's the real problem here? Y'all know what to do. Make sure y'all show some love, but honestly, I want to know your opinion. Are you impatient? Do you need games when you see them? What is the problem when it comes to developing the game? Why is it taking longer for AAA games to come out? And do gamers have a right to be impatient? Let's see. So the main reason I believe that maybe gaming has kind of evolved into where the gamers are being more impatient for things to come out is that we're now really full throttle into this internet gaming media phase. Like, we get our news way quicker than we used to back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember things like Nintendo Power, Gamer Pro. Those magazines let us know mostly what we were getting the days before the internet blogs. So I think the patience was a little bit more, there, because we didn't know about things as soon as we do now. Now you have these media gurus, these insiders who, the minute they hear about a leak or something like that, it's already on there, and now gamers are ready and excited for something. So I think one of the main reasons that we're more impatient these days when it comes to gaming is the fact that the information is way more readily available to us when it didn't used to be. Also, one big thing I think is that you can't really mess up anymore. And you can, but your game will get talked about. And one game that really changed how folks look at should delays happen or not is Cyberpunk. And you know I was gonna say this game, but the game was already heavily delayed, but people were on CD Red to get this game out as quick as possible. And while it was already delayed a couple of times, it was obvious that the game needed more time in the oven, but because of the backlash, I saw people threatening devs about, if you don't put this game out, man, I done already took off for work. Like, okay, like people were really up in arms that the game was maybe getting delayed again, so they dropped it. And what happened? It's probably one of the biggest controversies as far as an unfinished game being out there with bugs all over the place, being unplayable. Now the game doing great now, but I think that game really showed folks and maybe changed some minds about the impatience of us, that maybe we do need to wait for games because we don't want to have that again. We don't want to see that problem anymore. And I think that devs are actually seeing, like, hey, we got to take our time. We got to make sure that we put this game out in the best state possible, because they will rip us on the internet. And I mean, one company that usually takes a while, and this is probably being a thorn in everybody's foot, is Nintendo. Everyone has been waiting for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for the longest. And when they first showed it, everybody was like, yes, I need it. But then it got delayed. And the thing about Nintendo is they don't give us dates until they actually know. So it got delayed. They did give us a year, and we got an update, and they told us, hey, it's gonna be pushed back and we gotta work on it some more. And people wasn't happy about that, but some were, because we want a good game. Well, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years turned to 5 years. This is probably the longest development cycle in between Zelda sequels ever. And I think because of COVID and how work was different during the pandemic, which is still going on, by the way, it's not over, but that changed a lot of how fast a game can be developed, because resources, work power, workforce, a lot of it really affected the gaming community between 2020 and now. And we're just now really kind of bouncing back a little bit. A bunch of those games that were delayed during the 2020 and 2021, 2022 are now coming in 2023. But again, like, want to make sure that it's right before it comes out. And I think that's why we are seeing games take a little bit longer to come out. But again, are we impatient? I think sometimes we are, because games have always taken at least 4 to 5 years to come out. But the thing is, I think the gaming industry is starting to learn that we need to not announce something until it's already been developed or already started developing into the game. Like, there are rumors of Persona 3 remakes and Persona 6, which they have rumored that it is already far into development, which means it could possibly come out this year or next year, versus you announcing Final Fantasy 15 in 2011 and it didn't come out till a long time. Like, there are games that really took 10 years to make because they announced it too soon and we knew about it too soon, and that really got gamers impatient. But me, if the game is delayed, it means one or two things for me. It means I want to polish this up and make sure that it's ready when we get it out there, or this game not doing too hot. And hopefully that's not the case. But all in all, I think that we are becoming a little bit more impatient. Everybody wants what they want right then and there now. And you'll see it. You see this with Xbox right now and Game Pass. Like, they announced all of these games and they were supposed to be ready in 2022. And we went a whole 22 without really any big major release. And you can say Plague Tale 2 and High on Life, which that game probably about to die because of the controversy around that. And it was okay, but it wasn't a big title. They showed us all of these things like Fable, which we've been hearing that the development has not been the best. We're still waiting on Avowed and what else? There's so many other games they announced, and it's like, are we talking about these games too soon before they're ready? And I think that's the problem. Gamers want news and products so quick that we start to shame companies when we don't see things, we don't get news. Like, every year we go through this Nintendo Direct. There hasn't been a Nintendo Direct in so many years, but Nintendo has been making games, putting out games better than most companies right now outside of Square Enix. So when we're so entitled and ready to see these games when we want to see them, that it's making us impatient. And sometimes these companies fold and put out a game that's not really worth it, in my opinion. All of this is my opinion, and I'm asking this question and talking about this because I want to know how you feel. But to wrap it up, I really do think that some gamers are pretty impatient, and because of the technology that we have now and how close gaming news is to our fingertips versus the magazine days and versus just knowing stuff at E3, I think we expect to see things and get things quicker than what we used to. And that's part of the problem. It's not that games are developed, it's taking longer to develop games. I mean, some of them are, but it's more so we are knowing about games or expecting games quicker than we used to, because A, we either know about the game while it's well into its development process, or we get instances like Metroid Prime 4 where we learn about it and dang, the company, we had to start over. And the development phase again is like 4 years, 5 years. So imagine being 2 years into something and then you had to announce that we had to start over. That's another 4 or 5 years. But that's all for me. Like I said, I want to know how you feel about this subject. Are gamers impatient? What do you think? What do you think is the reason that games take longer to make? Is it the gamers or is it the companies? What's your opinion on this topic? That was another discussion board. And if you got any subjects you want to discuss, anything you want to talk about, please let me know in the comment section, because I like having these discussions with y'all. And I want y'all to be involved in the talking. So again, I appreciate you for watching this video. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.